Hello, everyone. My name is Sam, and I am your English teacher. I am very excited to be here and help you improve your English skills. We will learn together through fun activities, stories, and conversations. My goal is to make learning English easy and enjoyable for you. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes help us learn. Let's work together and have a great time in this class. Now, let's get started. God sees the truth, but wait. Chapter 1, God sees the truth, but waits. Leo Tolstoy. In the town of Vladimir lived a young merchant named Ivan Dmitrich Akshanov. He had 2 shops and a house of his own. Akshanov was a handsome, fair-haired, curly-headed fellow, full of fun, and very fond of singing. When quite a young man he had been given to drink, and was riotous when he had had too much, but after he married he gave up drinking, except now and then. One summer Akshanov was going to the Nizhny fair, and as he bade goodbye to his family, his wife said to him, "Ivan Dmitrich, do not start today. I have had a bad dream about you." Akshanov laughed and said, "You are afraid that when I get to the fair I shall go on a spree." His wife replied, "I do not know what I am afraid of. All I know is that I had a bad dream. I dreamt you returned from the town, and when you took off your cap I saw that your hair was quite grey." Akshanov laughed. "That's a lucky sign," said he. "See if I don't sell out all my goods and bring you some presents from the fair." So he said goodbye to his family and drove away. When he had traveled halfway, he met a merchant whom he knew, and they put up at the same inn for the night. They had some tea together, and then went to bed in adjoining rooms. It was not Akshanov's habit to sleep late, and, wishing to travel while it was still cool, he aroused his driver before dawn, and told him to put in the horses. Then he made his way across to the landlord of the inn, who lived in a cottage at the back, paid his bill, and continued his journey. When he had gone about 25 miles, he stopped for the horses to be fed. Akshanov rested a while in the passage of the inn, then he stepped out into the porch, and ordering a samovar to be heated, got out his guitar and began to play. Suddenly a troika drove up with tinkling bells, and an official alighted, followed by 2 soldiers. He came to Akshanov and began to question him, asking him who he was and whence he came. Akshanov answered him fully and said, "Won't you have some tea with me?" But the official went on cross-questioning him and asking him, "Where did you spend last night? Were you alone or with a fellow merchant? Did you see the other merchant this morning? Why did you leave the inn before dawn?" Akshanov wondered why he was asked all these questions, but he described all that had happened and then added, "Why do you cross-question me as if I were a thief or a robber? I am traveling on business of my own, and there is no need to question me." Then the official, calling the soldiers, said, "I am the police officer of this district, and I question you because the merchant with whom you spent last night has been found with his throat cut. We must search your things." They entered the house. The soldiers and the police officer unstrapped Akshanov's luggage and searched it. Suddenly the officer drew a knife out of a bag, crying, "Whose knife is this?" Akshanov looked, and seeing a blood-stained knife taken from his bag, he was frightened. How is it there is blood on this knife? Akshanov tried to answer, but could hardly utter a word, and only stammered, I don't know, not mine. Then the police officer said, this morning the merchant was found in bed with his throat cut. You are the only person who could have done it. The house was locked from inside, and no one else was there. Here is this blood-stained knife in your bag, and your face and manner betray you. Tell me how you killed him, and how much money you stole. Akshanov swore he had not done it, that he had not seen the merchant after they had had tea together, that he had no money except 8,000 rubles of his own, and that the knife was not his. But his voice was broken, his face pale, and he trembled with fear as though he went guilty. The police officer ordered the soldiers to bind Akshanov and to put him in the cart. As they tied his feet together and flung him into the cart, Akshanov crossed himself and wept. His money and goods were taken from him, and he was sent to the nearest town and imprisoned there. Inquiries as to his character were made in Vladimir. The merchants and other inhabitants of that town said that in former days he used to drink and waste his time, but that he was a good man. Then the trial came on. He was charged with murdering a merchant from Ryazan and robbing him of 20,000 rubles. His wife was in despair and did not know what to believe. Her children were all quite small. One was a baby at her breast. Taking them all with her, she went to the town where her husband was in jail. At first she was not allowed to see him, but after much begging, she obtained permission from the officials and was taken to him. When she saw her husband in prisoners and in chains, shut up with thieves and criminals, she fell down and did not come to her senses for a long time. Then she drew her children to her and sat down near him. She told him of things at home and asked about what had happened to him. He told her all, and she asked, what can we do now? We must petition the Tsar not to let an innocent man perish. His wife told him that she had sent a petition to the Tsar, but it had not been accepted. Akshanov did not reply, but only looked downcast. Then his wife said, it was not for nothing I dreamt your hair had turned grey. You remember? You should not have started that day. And passing her fingers through his hair, she said, Vanya dearest, tell your wife the truth. Was it not you who did it? So you, too, suspect me, said Akshanov. And, hiding his face in his hands, he began to weep. Then a soldier came to say that the wife and children must go away, and Akshanov said goodbye to his family for the last time. When they were gone, Akshanov recalled what had been said, and when he remembered that his wife also had suspected him, he said to himself, it seems that only God can know the truth. It is to Him alone we must appeal, and from Him alone expect mercy. And Akshanov wrote no more petitions, gave up all hope, and only prayed to God. Akshanov was condemned to be flogged and sent to the mines. So he was flogged with a knot, and when the wounds made by the knot were healed, he was driven to Siberia with other convicts. For 26 years Akshanov lived as a convict in Siberia. His hair turned white as snow, and his beard grew long, thin, and grey. All his mirth went, he stooped, he walked slowly, spoke little, and never laughed, but he often prayed. In prison, Akshanov learned to make boots and earned a little money, with which he bought the lives of the saints. He read this book when there was light enough in the prison, and on Sundays in the prison church he read the lessons and sang in the choir, for his voice was still good. The prison authorities liked Akshanov for his meekness, and his fellow prisoners respected him. They called him grandfather and the saint. When they wanted to petition the prison authorities about anything, they always made Akshanov their spokesman, and when there were quarrels among the prisoners, they came to him to put things right and to judge the matter. No news reached Akshanov from his home, and he did not even know if his wife and children were still alive. One day a fresh gang of convicts came to the prison. In the evening the old prisoners collected round the new ones and asked them what towns or villages they came from and what they were sentenced for. Among the rest, Akshanov sat down near the newcomers and listened with downcast air to what was said. One of the new convicts, a tall, strong man of 60, with a closely cropped grey beard, was telling the others what he had been arrested for. "Well, friends," he said, "I only took a horse that was tied to a sledge, and I was arrested and accused of stealing. I said I had only taken it to get home quicker and had then let it go. Besides, the driver was a personal friend of mine. So I said, 'It's all right.' 'No,' said they, 'you stole it.' But how or where I stole it they could not say. I once really did something wrong and ought by rights to have come here long ago, but that time I was not found out. Now I have been sent here for nothing at all. But it's lies I'm telling you. I've been to Siberia before, but I did not stay long." "Where are you from?" asked someone. "From Vladimir. My family are of that town. My name is Makar, and they also call me Semyonich." Akshanov raised his head and said, "Tell me, Semyonich, do you know anything of the merchants Akshanov of Vladimir? Are they still alive?" "Know them?" "Of course I do. The Akshanovs are rich, though their father is in Siberia, a sinner like ourselves, it seems. As for you, Grandad, how did you come here?" Akshanov did not like to speak of his misfortune. He only sighed and said, "For my sins I have been in prison these 26 years." "What sins?" asked Makar Semyonich. But Akshanov only said, well, I must have deserved it." He would have said no more, but his companions told the newcomers how Akshanov came to be in Siberia, how someone had killed a merchant and had put the knife among Akshanov's things, and Akshanov had been unjustly condemned. When Makar Semyonich heard this, he looked at Akshanov, slapped his own knee, and exclaimed, "Well, this is wonderful. Really wonderful. But how old you've grown, Grandad." The others asked him why he was so surprised and where he had seen Akshanov before, but Makar Semyonich did not reply. He only said, "It's wonderful that we should meet here, lads." These words made Akshanov wonder whether this man knew who had killed the merchant, so he said, "Perhaps, Semyonich, you have heard of that affair, or maybe you've seen me before?" "How could I help hearing? The world's full of rumors. But it's a long time ago, and I've forgotten what I heard." "Perhaps you heard who killed the merchant?" asked Akshanov. Makar Semyonich laughed and replied, "It must have been him in whose bag the knife was found. If someone else hid the knife there, he's not a thief till he's caught, as the saying is. How could anyone put a knife into your bag while it was under your head? It would surely have woke you up." When Akshanov heard these words, he felt sure this was the man who had killed the merchant. He rose and went away. All that night Akshanov lay awake. He felt terribly unhappy, and all sorts of images rose in his mind. There was the image of his wife as she was when he parted from her to go to the fair. He saw her as if she were present, her face and her eyes rose before him, he heard her speak and laugh. Then he saw his children, quite little, as they were at that time, one with a little cloak on, another at his mother's breast. And then he remembered himself as he used to be young and merry. He remembered how he sat playing the guitar in the porch of the inn where he was arrested, and how free from care he had been. He saw, in his mind, the place where he was flogged, the executioner, and the people standing around, the chains, the convicts, all the 26 years of his prison life, and his premature old age. The thought of it all made him so wretched that he was ready to kill himself. "And it's all that villain's doing," thought Akshanov. And his anger was so great against Makar Semyonich that he longed for vengeance, even if he himself should perish for it. He kept repeating prayers all night, but could get no peace. During the day he did not go near Makar Semyonich, nor even look at him. A fortnight passed in this way. Akshanov could not sleep at night, and was so miserable that he did not know what to do. One night as he was walking about the prison, he noticed some earth that came rolling out from under one of the shelves on which the prisoners slept. He stopped to see what it was. Suddenly Makar Semyonich crept out from under the shelf and looked up at Akshanov with frightened face. Akshanov tried to pass without looking at him, but Makar seized his hand and told him that he had dug a hole under the wall, getting rid of the earth by putting it into his high boots, and emptying it out every day on the road when the prisoners were driven to their work. "Just you keep quiet, old man, and you shall get out too. If you blab, they'll flog the life out of me, but I will kill you first." Akshanov trembled with anger as he looked at his enemy. He drew his hand away, saying, "I have no wish to escape, and you have no need to kill me, you killed me long ago. As to telling of you, I may do so or not, as God shall direct." Next day, when the convicts were led out to work, the convoy soldiers noticed that one or other of the prisoners emptied some earth out of his boots. The prison was searched and the tunnel found. The governor came and questioned all the prisoners to find out who had dug the hole. They all denied any knowledge of it. Those who knew would not betray Makar Semyonich, knowing he would be flogged almost to death. At last the governor turned to Akshanov, whom he knew to be a just man, and said, "You are a truthful old man, tell me, before God, who dug the hole." Makar Semyonich stood as if he were quite unconcerned, looking at the governor and not so much as glancing at Akshanov. Akshanov's lips and hands trembled, and for a long time he could not utter a word. He thought, "Why should I screen him who ruined my life? Let him pay for what I have suffered." But if I tell, they will probably flog the life out of him, and maybe I suspect him wrongly. And after all, what good would it be to me? Well, old man, repeated the governor, tell me the truth. Who has been digging under the wall? Akshanov glanced at Makar Semyonich and said, I cannot say, Your Honor. It is not God's will that I should tell. Do what you like with me, I am in your hands. However much the governor tried, Akshanov would say no more, and so the matter had to be left. That night, when Akshanov was lying on his bed and just beginning to doze, someone came quietly and sat down on his bed. He peered through the darkness and recognized Makar. What more do you want of me? Asked Akshanov. Why have you come here? Makar Semyonich was silent. So Akshanov sat up and said, What do you want? Go away, or I will call the guard. Makar Semyonich bent close over Akshanov and whispered, Ivan Dmitrich, forgive me. What for? Asked Akshanov. It was I who killed the merchant and hid the knife among your things. I meant to kill you too, but I heard a noise outside, so I hid the knife in your bag and escaped out of the window. Akshanov was silent and did not know what to say. Makar Semyonich slid off the bed shelf and knelt upon the ground. Ivan Dmitrich, said he, forgive me. For the love of God, forgive me. I will confess that it was I who killed the merchant, and you will be released and can go to your home. It is easy for you to talk, said Akshanov, but I have suffered for you these 26 years. Where could I go to now? My wife is dead, and my children have forgotten me. I have nowhere to go. Makar Semyonich did not rise, but beat his head on the floor. Ivan Dmitrich, forgive me, he cried. When they flogged me with the knot, it was not so hard to bear as it is to see you now, yet you had pity on me and did not tell. For Christ's sake forgive me, wretch that I am. And he began to sob. When Akshanov heard him sobbing, he, too, began to weep. God will forgive you, said he. Maybe I am 100 times worse than you. And at these words his heart grew light, and the longing for home left him. He no longer had any desire to leave the prison, but only hoped for his last hour to come. In spite of what Akshanov had said, Makar Semyonich confessed his guilt. But when the order for his release came, Akshanov was already dead.
Hello, my name is Sam. I am from Italy. I live in a small town called Verona, but I have a dream. I want to study in London. London is a big city in England. It has many famous places like the Big Ben, the London Eye, and Buckingham Palace. I want to see these places. I also want to learn English better. I think London is the best place for that. Verona is a quiet place with beautiful old buildings and friendly people. I have lived here all my life. I go to school every day. I like to play soccer with my friends. I also like to read books and watch movies. Every day I think about London. I imagine myself walking on its streets, visiting museums and going to a big school. I feel excited when I think about it. But there is a problem. My parents are worried about my dream. One evening I sit with my parents in the living room. I say, Mom, Dad, I want to talk to you. They look at me and say, What is it, Sam? I take a deep breath and say, I want to study in London. I want to go there next year. My mom looks surprised. She says, but Sam, London is very far. It is a big city. It can be dangerous. My dad nods and says, yes, Sam, we worry about you. You are safe here in Verona. I understand their worries. London is far from home. It is a big change. But I feel ready. I say, I know it is far. But I am careful. I want to learn. I want to see the world. My parents look at each other. They are silent for a moment. Then my mom says, we love you, Sam. We want you to be safe. But we also want you to be happy. My dad adds, we need to think about this. It is a big decision. I feel hopeful. I know they are worried. But they also want me to be happy. I smile and say, thank you, Mom and Dad. I will be careful. I promise. That night I go to bed and think about London. I know it will not be easy. But I am ready to work hard. I am ready to follow my dream. I feel excited and happy. London, here I come. Chapter 2. Planning the trip. I am very happy. My parents are thinking about my dream. I know it is a big decision. But I am ready. I want to go to London. One day I talk to my friend Alex. Alex is my best friend. We play soccer together. We go to school together. I tell Alex about my dream. I say, Alex, I want to study in London. Alex looks excited. He says, that is amazing, Sam. I want to go too. We talk a lot about London. We think about all the things we want to see and do. We decide to go together. We will be study partners in London. We start to plan our trip. First, we need to get our passports. A passport is a small book. It shows who you are. It lets you travel to other countries. We go to the office and get our passports. We feel excited. Next, we need to buy our plane tickets. We look on the internet. We find a good price for tickets to London. We use our savings to buy the tickets. We are going to fly on a big plane. It is my first time on a plane. I feel a little nervous but also very excited. We also need a place to stay in London. We look for a small apartment. We find one near our new school. It is not big but it is nice. We are happy. We will live together in London. Now we need to pack our bags. We make a list of things we need: clothes, books and some food for the trip. We pack everything carefully. Our bags are ready. We are ready. My parents are still worried. They say, Sam, be careful. London is a big city. Stay safe. I promise them I will be careful. I give them a big hug. I say, thank you, Mom and Dad. I will call you every day. Alex and I are very excited. We talk about a new life in London. We talk about a new school. We talk about the places we will visit. The big day is coming. We will soon be on our way to London. Our adventure is about. Chapter 3. The journey begins. The big day is here. Alex and I are ready. We say goodbye to our families. My mom and dad give me a big hug. They say, be safe, Sam. We love you. I say, I love you too. I will be careful. Alex and I go to the airport. The airport is big and busy. Many people are there. Some people are happy. Some people look tired. We check our bags. We get our boarding passes. We wait for our plane. We feel excited and a little nervous. It is my first time on a plane. Alex has never been on a plane either. We talk about a new life in London. We talk about a new school. We can't wait to see the city. Finally, it is time to board the plane. We get on the plane. It is very big inside. We find our seats. I sit by the window. Alex sits next to me. We fasten our seat belts. The plane starts to move. I look out the window. The plane goes faster and faster. Then, we are in the air. I see the ground getting smaller and smaller. We are flying. It is amazing. I feel happy. Alex looks happy too. The flight is long. We talk, read books, and watch movies. We also sleep for a while. The flight attendants are very nice. They bring us food and drinks. We eat a sandwich and drink some juice. After a few hours, something happens. The plane starts to shake. It is turbulence. I feel scared. Alex feels scared too. But we stay calm. We hold hands. The turbulence stops. We feel safe again. We look out the window. We see the clouds. We see the blue sky. It is beautiful. We feel excited again. We are getting closer to London. Finally, the plane starts to go down. We are landing. I see the city below. It is big and full of lights. We are in London. The plane lands smoothly. We get off the plane. We are very happy. We get our bags and go through customs. The officer checks our passports. Everything is fine. We are in London. Our adventure has begun. We can't wait to explore the city and start our new life. Chapter 4 First Adventure. We are in London. Alex and I feel very excited. We take a taxi to our new apartment. The city is big and busy. There are many people and cars. We see red buses and black taxis. We see tall buildings and big shops. Everything is new and exciting. Our apartment is small but nice. It has 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen and a living room. We unpack our bags. We put our clothes in the closet. We are ready to explore the city. The next morning, we wake up early. We are very excited. We have a map of London. We plan to visit some famous places. Our first stop is the Big Ben. It is a big clock tower. It is very famous. We take many pictures. Then we go to the London Eye. It is a big Ferris wheel. We buy tickets and get on. The wheel goes up slowly. From the top, we can see the whole city. It is beautiful. We feel very happy. After the London Eye, we walk to Buckingham Palace. It is the home of the Queen. The palace is very big and beautiful. We see the guards in their red uniforms. They stand very still. We take more pictures. We walk around the city. We see many shops, cafes and parks. Everything is new and interesting. We feel like explorers. But after a while, we get tired. We decide to go back to our apartment. On the way back, something happens. We get lost. We take a wrong turn and do not know where we are. We feel a little scared. The streets look different. We do not see any familiar places. I say, Alex, what do we do? Alex says, don't worry, Sam. We can ask for help. We see a kind looking lady. We walk up to her and say, excuse me, we are lost. Can you help us? The lady smiles and says, of course, where do you need to go? We show her our map. She points us in the right direction. We thank her and start walking again. We feel better. Soon, we find our way back. We see our apartment building. We feel very relieved. After that, we decide to take a break. We find a small cafe. We sit down and order some tea and sandwiches. We feel happy and relaxed. We talk about all the things we saw, but then something happens. Alex looks worried. He says, Sam, where is my bag? I look around. The bag is not there. Alex's bag is missing. We feel scared. The bag has Alex's wallet and passport. We need those things. We try to stay calm. I say, Alex, let's look around. Maybe we left it somewhere. We look around the cafe. We ask the staff. But no one has seen the bag. We feel more scared. We decide to go back to the museum. Maybe we left the bag there. We walk quickly. We feel very worried. When we get to the museum, we ask the staff. They say they have not seen the bag. We look around, but it is not there. Alex looks very sad. He says, Sam, what do we do? My passport is in the bag. I need it. I feel worried too. But I try to stay calm. I say, Alex, we will go to the police. They can help us. We find a police station. We tell the police officer about the bag. He is very kind. He says, don't worry. We will try to find it, but it may take some time. He takes our information and gives us a number to call. We leave the police station. We feel a little better but still worried. Alex says, Sam, I feel so bad. I lost my bag. I say, it's okay, Alex. We will find a way. Let's go back to the apartment and think. We go back to our apartment. We sit down and talk. We make a plan. We will call the police every day to check. We will also be more careful with our things. We know it will be hard, but we will try our best. That night, we feel tired and worried. But we also feel a little stronger. We know that problems can happen. We know we can face them together. London is a big city with many surprises. We are ready for the challenges. Chapter 5: The Accident. The next day, Alex and I feel a bit better. We still worry about the lost bag. But we decide to enjoy our time in London. We make a new plan. Today, we will visit Hyde Park and go for a walk. Hyde Park is very big and beautiful. There are many trees, flowers, and a big lake. We see people walking, running, and riding bikes. We feel happy and relaxed. We walk along the path and talk about our plans. Suddenly, Alex says, Sam, I want to rent a bike. Let's ride around the park. I think it is a good idea. We go to the bike rental place and get two bikes. We start to ride. It is fun. The wind blows in our faces. We laugh and feel free, but then, something terrible happens. Alex is riding in front of me. He turns to look back and talk to me. He doesn't see a rock on the path. His bike hits the rock. Alex falls off the bike. He hits the ground hard. I hear him cry out in pain. I stop my bike quickly and run to Alex. He is on the ground holding his leg. He looks very hurt. I feel very scared. I say, Alex, are you okay? He says, no, my leg hurts a lot. I can't move. I see people around us. They look worried. One person calls an ambulance. Another person helps me keep Alex calm. The ambulance arrives quickly. The paramedics are very kind. They check Alex and say, we need to take him to the hospital. I go with Alex in the ambulance. I hold his hand. He is in a lot of pain. I feel very scared and worried. The ambulance goes fast. We reach the hospital. The doctors take Alex inside. They say, please wait here. We will take care of him. I wait in the waiting room. I feel very nervous. I don't know what will happen. I hope Alex will be okay. I call his parents and tell them what happened. They are very worried. I promise to stay with Alex and take care of him. After some time, a doctor comes to talk to me. He says, Alex has a broken leg. He needs surgery. He will be okay, but he needs to stay in the hospital for a week. I feel a little better. At least Alex will be okay. I go to see Alex. He looks tired and in pain, but he smiles when he sees me. I say, Alex, you are very brave. You will be okay. He says, thank you, Sam. I am glad you are here. For the next week, I visit Alex every day. I bring him books and food. I sit with him and talk to him. He is getting better slowly. The doctors and nurses are very kind. They take good care of him. Finally, after a week, Alex is ready to leave the hospital. He has a cast on his leg and needs crutches to walk, but he feels much better. We go back to our apartment. We are both very tired, but happy to be together again. Alex and I are back at our apartment. Alex has a cast on his leg and uses crutches to walk. He needs to rest and heal. I help him as much as I can. I cook food, clean the apartment, and help him move around. One day, Alex has a doctor's appointment. We go to the hospital. The doctor checks his leg and says, Alex, you are healing well, but you need more rest. Come back next week for another checkup. We feel happy. Alex is getting better. In the evenings, we watch movies and play games. We laugh and try to stay positive. Sometimes Alex feels sad. He says, Sam, I want to walk without crutches. I want to explore the city. I say, I know, Alex. You will be able to do that soon. Just be patient. 1 week passes. Then 2 weeks. Alex is getting stronger. He can move around more easily. We go back to the doctor. The doctor says, Alex, you are healing very well. You can start walking without crutches soon. Just be careful. One day, we get a call from the police. They found Alex's lost bag. We go to the police station to get it. Alex is very happy. He says, Sam, this is great news. Now we have everything we need. Our new school starts next week. We are excited and a little nervous. We prepare our school bags and get our books ready. We talk about our classes and the new friends we will meet. Finally, the big day arrives. We go to school. It is a big building with many students. We feel excited. We go to our classes and meet our teachers. Everyone is very kind. We make new friends and start learning new things. At the end of the day, we go back to our apartment. We feel happy and tired. Alex says, Sam, today was a great day. I feel ready for the future. I say, me too, Alex. We had some hard times, but we are stronger now. The lost puppy. It was a bright and sunny morning in Greenfield. The birds were singing, and the air was fresh. Emma, a 10-year-old girl, lived in a small house with her parents and her little brother, Jake. She loved animals, especially dogs. Every morning, she walked to the park near her house and played with the neighborhood dogs. One day, while Emma was playing in the park, she heard a soft whining sound. She looked around but could not see anything. The sound came again, and Emma followed it. Behind a big bush, she found a small, brown puppy. The puppy was shivering and looked very scared. Oh no! Are you lost, little one? Emma said softly. She bent down and picked up the puppy. It was very thin and dirty. Its eyes were big and sad. Emma gently held the puppy in her arms and walked home quickly. When she entered the house, her mother saw the puppy and said, Emma, where did you find this puppy? I found him in the park, behind a bush. He looks very hungry and scared. Can we keep him, Mom? Emma asked with hope in her eyes. Her mother smiled and said, First, we need to find out if he belongs to someone. Let's give him some food and water. Then we can put up posters in the neighborhood. Emma nodded and gave the puppy a bowl of milk. He drank it quickly and wagged his tail. Jake was very excited. Can we name him? He asked. Emma thought for a moment. Let's call him Buddy for now. The next day, Emma and her mother made posters with a picture of Buddy. The next day, Emma and her mother made posters with a picture of Buddy. They wrote, Found a small brown puppy. If he belongs to you, please call us. They put the posters on trees, streetlights, and in the grocery store. Days passed, but no one called. Emma and her family took good care of Buddy. They gave him a bath, fed him every day, and played with him in the park. Buddy became very happy. He loved running around and playing with Emma and Jake. One afternoon, when Emma was walking Buddy in the park, an old man came near. He looked at Buddy and said, Oh dear! Is that my Rusty? Emma looked at the man. He had kind eyes and a gentle smile. Is this your puppy, sir? She asked. Yes. He ran away last week during a storm. I have been looking for him everywhere, the man said with a sad voice. Emma felt both happy and sad. She loved Buddy, but she knew he belonged to someone else. His name is Buddy now. We took care of him, Emma said. The old man patted Buddy's head. Thank you, dear. You are very kind. But Buddy looks very happy with you. Would you like to keep him? Emma's eyes widened. Really? But he is your dog. The man smiled. I am too old to take care of him. I just wanted to know he was safe. You have given him love. He belongs with you. Emma hugged Buddy tightly. Thank you so much, she said with joy. From that day on, Buddy became a part of Emma's family. He was no longer lost. He had a home filled with love and happiness. And Emma learned that kindness always brings joy, but he quickly adapted to his new life. He followed Emma everywhere, wagging his tail with excitement. Every morning, he waited by the door, ready for their walk to the park. He loved chasing butterflies, digging small holes, and playing with his new dog friends. One evening, Emma's father came home with a small blue collar and a name tag that read, Buddy. Since he is officially part of the family, he needs his own tag, he said with a smile. Emma carefully placed the collar around Buddy's neck. He barked happily and licked her face. Weeks passed, and Buddy grew stronger. His fur became shiny, and he was no longer afraid. He slept at the foot of Emma's bed and greeted her every morning with a wagging tail. Emma taught him simple tricks like sit and stay. Buddy was very smart and learned quickly. One day, while playing in the park, Buddy started barking loudly near the playground. Emma ran to see what happened. She saw a small boy stuck at the top of the slide, too scared to come down. The boy was crying. Buddy barked again and ran in circles around the slide. Emma quickly called an adult for help. A kind woman climbed up and helped the boy down. Thank you so much, young lady. And your dog is very smart, she said with a grateful smile. Emma hugged Buddy. You're a hero, she said. Buddy wagged his tail proudly. From that day, Buddy was known as the bravest dog in the neighborhood. People loved him, and he always brought smiles to everyone. Emma felt lucky to have found Buddy. She knew that sometimes the best friends come when you least expect them.